Good afternoon. Today is the 12th of March, and it's time to take a look, as we do regularly, at the top 10 best-selling cars of February 2025. So February 2025 in this country wasn't necessarily the worst month. I've just been taking a look at some of the statistics, and it appears that actually it was almost as good as when car sales in this country reached their peak in 2016, I think it was. It's very close to that. It's not quite as many as last year, but there we go. And the power source mix, though, for this year is really quite different. I'll be using the term sales when I actually mean registrations, but I just can't get my head around calling these registrations. So you'll hear both terms used, perhaps. Bear in mind that at the moment we have this strange zero emission vehicle mandate that's recently been supposedly renegotiated with the government and Nissan. But as it stands, 28% of all new cars sold in this country have to be zero emission capable, which means either battery electric or plug-in hybrids with some enormous range of like sort of 90 miles emission free driving. So far, this hasn't been working too well. Last year, the target for the percentage was 22%, which they failed to make. I think it's supposed to be a £15,000 fine for every non-compliant car that they sell, what doesn't meet this target. But it doesn't seem to have happened like that. Nobody was fined last year, so it just kind of means that the zero emission vehicle mandate is really pointless. But it's 28% this year, and last month the market share of battery electric cars was 25.3%. So yeah, but actually now 17.7% of the market, which is absolutely 17.7% of the market last year. So it's quite an increase. It's 41% increase. 2024 in February, it was about 15,000 cars sold. Last month was 21,000. So a big increase, but still not actually meeting that technical target. Although I don't know why they put this target in place and say people are going to be fined and then they're not. I don't really understand that. Maybe somebody can enlighten me as to how that actually works. So plug-in hybrids, in 2024, in February, they sold 6,000. The last month was about 7,300, which means there's a 19.3% increase. Market share has gone up from 7.2% to 8.7%. Then we've got hybrids, everything from Kia, Sportages and Toyotas and Suzukis. There's so many now. That's gone up from 10,500 in 2024 to last month 11,400, which is a 7.9% increase, and market share has gone from 12.5% to 13.6%. With petrol traditionally the biggest category of all, this has gone down from 48%. 48,000 to 40,000, and that's a decrease of 17.3%. The market share was 57% last February. Now it's 47%, which is a big difference. Diesel forbidden fuel, absolutely tiny percentage of the market now. It's now down to 5%, which is well under what plug-in hybrids even are. There aren't very many of cars powered by the fuel left on the market. We don't talk about them on the channel, but it was 5.9% last February. It's a 15% decrease. Number of cars sold has gone from about 5,000 to about 4,200. The market overall is down by sort of 1%. We're now going to go on to February registrations by sale type, which means private fleet or business. The business sector is tiny in this country. It hovers around sort of 3% of the market. Actually, no, it's less than that here. It's changed very slightly. It's gone up from 1.8 to 1.9%, about 3%. But that means about 1516 to 1566, so it's not significant. More significant, of course, is the private sector, which has stayed very similar. So in February 2024, it was about 29,000 cars. Now it's about 30,000. Percentage increase about 4.6. Market share has gone from about 34% to 36%, which means that the biggest sector, fleet sector, which is far the biggest sector in this country, has decreased very slightly. It's gone from about 55,000 cars in February 2024 to 53,000 cars, which is a drop of 4%. And market share has gone from 64.5% to 62.5%. So all these figures that you kind of see are very, very much influenced by what fleets are buying. The private sector is only about a third of all new car sales. So it's not that people are going out necessarily and buying these cars in very large numbers. It's more likely to be the fleets that are, but obviously the private sales do have an effect as well. And then we can see here what you clicked on the video for the top 10 bestsellers, which I'll have to find a different section because the website is now been redone for some reason from Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. It's actually more difficult to use now. Why? I don't know. But as we can see sort of here, it's an interesting, the top selling car is actually the Mini Cooper. It used to be called a Mini Hatch, but the Mini Cooper is now a model in its own right rather than a trim level. So in first position, it's about 2,100 cars. Next to Tesla Model 3, which is about 2,000. Then a Tesla Model Y, 1,900. Volkswagen Golf, around 1,700. Then the Volkswagen Tiguan, which I did review last year, a 2024 model. It's about 1,600. And then the Nissan Juke just below that, which is sixth position, just about sort of 15 cars less or something, again, just over 1,600. Then the Nissan Qashqai in seventh position, about 1,500. Kia Sportage again about 1,500, just a little bit below that. But the Volvo XC40, no stranger to top 10, of course, at about just 1,485, and then at the bottom the Puma, which is the best-selling car for last year, about 1,466. Let's just see whether that relates to what's going on generally. Yeah, the Sportage, the Puma, things like that, they're all in the top 10 so far, but there's only been 2 months of the year. So now we come to my favourite bit of the video, how each individual manufacturer is actually doing. So we will take each one individually. Again, this site has now changed. It's much more difficult for me to read the data off it, which is annoying, but never mind. Abarth will start with. So in 2024, they sold 129 cars in February. Market share was 0.06%. Last month, not good, 0.02, 45 cars sold. It's down by 65%. Alfa Romeo, another Stellantis brand, in 2024, they sold 133 cars, again 0.6% of the market share. They've remained remarkably consistent because the market's down by about 1%. So still 0.6% of the market share, but 125 cars sold, which is about 6% down. Then we've got Alpine, which is just not much to say apart from the fact that there's been a huge collapse in their sales. I know we're talking 60 cars to 16 cars, but that is actually 73% down, and the market has dropped from 0.03 to 0.01. Audi, much, much larger sales, although they're a bit down as well, down by 27%. Last year, they sold 14,000 cars and made up 6.2% of the market. Now it's 10,000 cars and 4.6%. Bentley, they've remained very consistent. They've slightly increased their market share by selling 98 cars in 2024, 119 last month. The percentage has gone up from 0.04 to 0.05, which is a 21% increase. Then we get BMW. Now, BMW, one of the best-selling brands in this country. Audi and BMW are two of the best-selling brands in this country. Just think about that for a moment, and the next time you see one, and you consider it to be, in inverted commas, a premium car, because, well, I mean, they're not really. If a premium car is something that is, sort of rare and exotic, well, they're neither rare nor exotic. They're just a bit more expensive. But I'm selling loads of them though. So yeah, so last month, they sold 14,000 cars, more than Audi. Market share is at about 6.3%. That's actually down a little bit on 2024. They sold 16,700 cars, and the market share was 7.3%. It's about 16% down. How about an increase though? Build what? BYD, build your dreams. So BYDs were on sale in this country last year in February, but they only sold about 500 cars. Last month they sold 2,800 cars. The market share's got up from 0.2 to 1.25, which is a massive increase of 438%. We're going to skip Chevrolet because there's nothing to say about Chevrolet really. Instead, let's look at Citroën, another Stellantis brand. So they've gone from 4,500 cars sold in February 2024 to 2,100 last month. That is actually a market share from 2% to under 1%. It's 53% down, which is not very good. It's not very good at all. Cupra, bit better really. About 3,000 cars sold last February. Market share was about 1.3, and now it's 1.7. Number of cars sold has gone up to about 4,000, which is good for them, I suppose. But it's a 28% increase. Dacia, sadly, are going down. I think it's just a supply problem. I don't think it's anything to do with the models, because people really like Dacias, and so do I, to be honest. It might just be a supply problem. They don't really have to discount their cars, they just sell them, because people just buy them. They don't need to discount the cars, really. So it's gone from about 3,300 to just under 3,300. Not much difference, really. Market share is about the same. It's just the market overall is down by 1%. Then we've got DS, a tiny little brand in this country. I'm not surprised that they don't sell a lot, because nobody even knows what they are. I'm more surprised, actually, they still sell them over here. So number of cars sold has gone from 186 to 123. Market share's dropped from 0.08 to 0.06. And that's a decrease of 34%. Better news for Fiat, who of course are the major Stellantis brand. I wonder if we'll get Lancia back. They sold 1,900 cars in 2024 in February. Last month was about 2,000. Market share has gone from about 0.8 to about 0.9, which is a 9% increase, which is good. We'll skip Fisker because that's all sad, and we'll go on to Ford. Ford, they've had a decrease. Not surprising when you don't sell the Fiesta anymore that people like, and the Focus is going out of production later this year as well. What can we say we haven't said already about them? 29% decrease. Number of cars sold was about 16,000. It's about 6.8% of the market. It's now 11,000 and about 5%, which means that BMW have outsold Ford quite comprehensively. Ineos, we're not really going to say anything about them. They don't sell many cars. JQ were a brand who did not exist in this country a year ago. There's nothing to compare it against. We'll go to Jaguar. Jaguar still registered some cars, although, of course, they discontinued all their models at the end of last year. So these will be from stock. I think production for the UK market ended at the end of 2024 of all models. So they still registered 989 cars, which is down for about 2,000. And the market share has gone down from 0.91 to 0.44, which is minus 53%. But if you're going to discontinue all your cars and stop production, that's not really surprising. Jeep, Stellantis brand, was actually gone up quite comprehensively. Is that a Jeep Avenger or something? I don't know. 72% increase. It was 880, It's now gone up to 1,500, and the market share has jumped from 0.39 to 0.68. KGM, formerly Sanyong, not good. Not good at all. Despite a new Actian coming out, which doesn't look a nice car, actually. I like the look of that. And of course, I'm sitting in an old Sanyong here today. Anyways, we have this car since 2020, this Sanyong. So 218 cars in 2024 in February. Last month, 146. Market share has dropped from 0.1 to 0.07, which is a 33% decrease. Kia. Right. Kia have outsold Ford quite comprehensively. Actually, we've missed a whole load of here. We'll have to go back in a second, but I don't know why we skip forward. It's because this site's so confusing now. It's much, much worse than it was. So Kia sold 15,000 cars in February 2025. Ford sold 11,000. Kia last February sold about 14,600. The market share has gone up from 6.4 to 6.8, which is a 3% increase. Ford are, oh dear. Anyway, Genesis is a bit of a sad case because they've just dropped all the combustion models. So if you want to buy Genesis in the future, I mean, obviously you can go get them from stock at the moment, but if you want to buy one of these in future, then it's going to have to be an electric one. Nothing's anything wrong with the electric one. I just prefer a Genesis with a nice petrol engine like the one I drove in 2022, which is a G70. It was very, very good. But nobody cares about Genesis, despite the really nice long warranty and the ownership package where you don't have to lift a finger. Like, they kind of just come and pick your car up for services, and they give you a courtesy car and they clean it and all this kind of stuff. And you get a dedicated sort of concierge service. And the prices are very competitive. Nobody cares. They just buy BMW or a Mercedes or Audi instead, which is a real shame because their cars are really good, or at least they were until I discontinued all the ones I liked. Anyway, they've gone up from 77 cars to 205 cars. The market share has increased from 0.03 to 0.09, which is a 166% increase. So what do I know, viewers? GWM, which is Aura, they've only got one model on sale at the moment, the Aura 03, known as the Funky Cat. That has gone down from 112 cars sold in February 2024 to 57. The market share has dropped from 0.05 to 0.03. It's a 49% decrease. Next, we've got Honda. I like Hondas, actually, viewers. I like the HR-V and the Civic in particular. I really want to have a go in both of those. I think I did write to Honda UK at some point and ask them for a car, but because my channel's still really small, even after all these years, you don't really get any kind of traction on that until you're a much larger one. So there we go. Anyway, so, but no, I do like those. Market share has gone from 0.19 to 0.14, sorry, to 1.9 to 1.4. Number of cars sold has gone from 4,300 to 3,000, which is a 28% decrease. I don't know why. Hyundai, as we're supposed to call it now, which is confusing. They've increased a bit. They've gone from about 10,400 number of cars sold. The market share has gone from 4.4 to 4.7, which is a 5.4% increase. Ineos, we're not going to touch that. JQ, Jaguar, Jeep, KGM, Kia, we've done. Land Rover, here we go. Unlike Jaguar, who have discontinued all models are increasing, Land Rover are on the rise still. So their market share has gone from 2.7 to 3.1. Number of cars sold has gone from 6,200 to about 7,000, which is a 12.4% increase. It's good, I suppose. Lexus, I like Lexus, actually. I'm not styling, but the cars themselves are very, very well made and engineered. So gone from 1,100 to 1,700. The market share has gone from 0.5 to 0.7. That's a 50% increase. It's very good. Maserati, another Stellantis brand, not doing very well. Not all of them, of course. Jeep is very good, but the rest of them seem to be a bit ropey at the moment. So 65 to 37 cars, market share has dropped from 0.03 to 0.02. It's a 43% decrease, but it's irrelevant anyway, in a way, because I don't know, they just don't sell many cars in this country. So I don't even know why Maserati still sell cars over here. For us to be Ferrari's not in this list, but Maserati is. I never really understood that. Anyway, let's go to Mazda. We're going to ignore Maxus, actually. Mazda doing well. I don't know what it is here that they've got on sale. It might be that new CX-80. Is it called CX-80? I can't remember now. So 45% increase. Market share has gone from 1.25 to 1.8. Number of cars sold has gone from 800 to 4,100, which is very good, although it's a shame that that lovely Mazda 2 that was on sale since 2015 is now being discontinued, because it's a really good car. I will get one of those in for test at some point, because one of my friends owns one, but he's not available at the moment, so I can't. But yeah. Mercedes-Benz have done better, actually, and they abandoned the agency sales model, which was crippling them. Sales are up by about 11%. Number of cars sold has gone from 8,700 to 9,800. The percentage has increased in the market of 3.8 to 4.3. MG, not good, actually. They've gone down. I don't know what it is. Maybe they just have too many cars at the dealers and they can't sell them or something. I'm not sure. 14% down. Market share has gone from 4.5 to 3.9. Number of cars sold has gone from 10,000 to 9,000. Mini, with the top selling car being the Cooper, they have gone from 6,100 last year to 7,000, and the market share has gone from 2.7 to 3.1. It's a 40% increase. Nissan, who are in trouble, as everybody knows, they've gone down a bit. The Qashqai and Duke have slipped down the ranking slightly in comparison with February 2024. 14% decrease. Market's gone from 5.6 to about 5. Number of cars sold has gone from 13,000 to 11,000. Moda, nothing to compare against. Another brand like JQ, owned by I think it's Geely, actually owned them, as far as I remember. Peugeot, much better than Citroen, much better. 32% increase. Number of cars sold has gone from 9,400 to 12,400, and the market share has gone from 4.1 to 5.5, despite not having any models in the top 10. Polestar, not as a disaster everyone thought it would be, actually. So they've gone from 500 cars to about 1,300 cars. The market share has gone from 0.2 to 0.6. Is that because of the new Polestar 4? I don't know. Not really. Despite being a member of Volvo Owners Club, I'm not very familiar with Polestar. Neither are most of the people there. They tend to drive the older combustion Volvos, which is not really surprising considering the typical Volvo owner is like. So yeah, 155% increase of Polestar. Then Porsche, very consistent, actually. Market share's very slightly risen from 0.76 to 0.8. Number of cars sold has gone from 1720 to 1794, which is a 4% increase. Renault, so a bit better, 12.6% increase. Market share has gone from 2.6 to 3%. Number of cars sold has gone from 5,900 to 6,600. Seat, bit of a disaster really for Seat, 43% down. Number of cars sold has gone from 5,000 to 3,000. Market share has dropped from 2.3 to 1.3. I don't know why, because it's Skoda, that's it, Skoda. They're very similar to Seat, and yet they're doing really well. Really well. So they are up by about 6%. Market share has gone from 3.7 to 4. Number of cars sold has gone from 8,500 to 9,000, which is crazy. I prefer the Seats personally, and also Skodas have this stupid kind of options on them, whereby like you go in there and you think, oh, it's cheaper than the Volkswagen or the Seat, and then you look at the options that you actually need to make it like a Volkswagen or a Seat, and the cars come out about the same price. So I don't know what it is. The cars are very good. It's just the options are stupid. So Smart, not good considering it's a brand that's been relaunched recently. 55% down. Market share has gone from 0.1 to 0.05. Number of cars sold has gone from 225 to 102. Subaru, not good. Market share has dropped from 0.1 to 0.09. Number of cars sold has gone from 258 to 198, which is a 23% decrease. I have no idea why. Suzuki, quite consistent, really, down by 3%, but it's only like, sales dropping from 2,600 to about 2,500, and the market share dropping from staying very consistent to about 1.15%. Tesla, who are now on this list, but never used to be, they've gone up slightly. Obviously, with two models in the top three, then they would do 11% increase. They now hold about 2.4% of the market as opposed to 2.1%. And number of cars sold has gone from 4,800 to 5,300. Toyota, very popular in this country and very popular actually in Europe as a whole, but they're not as popular in the last month. 18% decrease, 4.1% of the market now does 3.1. Number of cars sold has dropped from 9,300 to 7,600. Volkswagen absolutely comprehensively beat everybody again. Last year in February they sold 19,000 cars. It's now 21,600 cars, and the market share has gone from 8% to 10%, which is a 12.6% increase. Volvo actually doing quite well, really. They've gone from 6,000 to 7,000 cars sold, and the percentage has gone up from 2.7 to 3.2% of the market, which is a 60% increase. Vauxhall, I almost missed them out. They've actually done a bit better than I thought they would do, but it's still not as good as I want, really. Yeah, it almost sold as many cars as Ford, but then BMW sold more either, so there we go. And Kia far more than that as well. So it was 13,000 cars sold. It's now 11,000 cars sold. The market share has gone down from 5.8 to 4.1, which is a 16% decrease. And that's sort of it. So the total was 228,000 cars in February 2024. Last month was 223,000 cars sold, which is about a 2% decrease as far as I can see from these figures. So that's it, viewers. Another month. We'll see what happens in March, which is one of the two biggest months of the year for car sales in this country. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again next month for some more riveting statistics.